Do I look nerdy enough to be doing a sophisticated book review? Because I'm a smart puppy. Hello, and thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be doing a quick book review of the Polyamory Breakup Book by Kathy Labriola. So the reason why I wanted to listen to this book is that I've been reading a lot of pro poly content that talks about the benefits of polyamory. But this book title kind of caught my attention as it talks about something that we seldom really talk about, which is breakups. And I think that we try to equate all breakups to, being very similar. But we don't talk about how polyamorous relationships and their breakups are very different in the ways of monogamous breakup. So I'm just gonna hit this mic. So I thought it would be kind of interesting because I was like, I'm also experiencing a relatively new breakup in my polycule, and I wanted to see if I could learn some skills or gain information that would help me digest everything just a little bit easier, and maybe learn something that I could take and use for future relationships. All right, so I've got my little breakup, my notepad that I started here because I was like, ooh, this shit is juicy. And let me just tell you, before I get into this, I was read to filth reading this book. There are so many examples in this book, and it's sometimes I felt like I was being forced to stare at a mirror when I was listening to this book, because I don't have time to read books right now, so I'm doing the whole Audible thing. So anyways, and I'm not sponsored by Audible, so don't think that I'm pushing it. But so whether you read this or if you listen to it on Audible, you should be able to take away some good things from here. Yeah, the book is set up. Kathy, who is a relationship expert counselor, I believe there was 40 people, polyamorous people, that she interviewed for 3 hours over the span of time, and then has over 25 years of relationship counseling. And she draws from the experience of these poly and monogamous people to create this book. So you get a lot of almost case studies where people are explaining, hey, this is my situation, this has happened to me, to exemplify the points in the book. And the biggest takeaway here is the first part of the book for me, in which she describes that there's really 7 reasons why most relationships fail. And then outside of those 7 reasons, there's 4 unique ones to polyamory. She talks about she calls them the big 7. The big 7, which is sexual problems, financial issues, domestic issues, conflicts over, I can't even read my own notes. Conflicts over monotony, drug and alcohol addictions or addictions of any kind, unresolved mental health issues, and then abuse. Those are the big 7. So regardless if you're poly or you're in a monogamous relationship, those are typically the reasons why people break up. Then she goes into the 4 unique poly breakup reasons, which would be picking the wrong partners, which I've definitely done before, incompatible models of open relationships, poor time management and energy, and then the 4th one being jealousy. Kind of frames jealousy as like that last and final reason, and which is very well executed, because she's like, jealousy, it's seldom jealousy that's the root of the issues. It's usually one of these other things, and jealousy is this after effect or the side effect of not dealing with these certain problems. So I really do appreciate that, because a lot of times, we see the jealousy and we think that's the problem, but we don't encourage enough dialogue and conversations to find the root of the issue. And so we can never really work on the root of the issues because we're just so focused on the jealousy before we can even see in our partners that there's an unresolved need. So or an unresolved issue that doesn't get addressed. that leads to jealousy. So I thought that was actually quite fascinating. Um, in the later parts of the book, she talks about how to manage a breakup, how to survive, a polyamorous breakup, and she exclaims that a lot of people that were poly relationships found that it was a lot more difficult to end those relationships versus a monogamous relationship because these key elements that are different. For example, you have less time for self-care because you may still have other partners that require time, and so grieving that relationship is you don't have the time and resources to do it because you still have to give your attention to your other partners and satisfy their needs in the different areas that can be worked on for that. She also talks about how dealing with the public relationship aspect is different because a lot of people just assume that the reason that you broke up was because polyamory and polyamory would never work, and so kind of addressing some of those things, and then is there a better way of handling our breakup? So very good information. I think my biggest takeaway from this was choosing the right partners, which was very interesting in the sense that I've been meeting people. I've been trying to work on my friendships and trying to casually date. I don't know casual. I've never dated before. I've never gone on a series of dates before getting into a relationship with somebody. So I'm finding this book as I'm also trying to analyze how I proceed in making friendships or relationships with people. And so the timing was impeccable. But choosing the right partner is so imperative because I used to find people that I was attracted to or I had chemistry with, and I knew that there was like this fundamental difference about how we saw relationships and how we wanted relationships to work in our lives. But I assumed that love would conquer all and that we could make our differences work because we had this chemistry, had this thing, and we'll figure the rest out, which led to many issues down the stream. So very good book. It was an easy listen to. The one thing I will say about the Audible narration is that I was listening to this on like 1.25 speed just because my brain operates like faster, so the pacing, the cadence wasn't necessarily mine, and it's done in a British accent, and so my attention span, it's just a personal thing. I was like, okay, 1.25 speed, we're gonna get through this. But overall, the Audible recording is about 8 hours long, so it's not super long. I spent like a day like listening to it and then listening it to the car and then wrapping it up and listening to it in my bedroom. So overall, the content there, I keep going back and listening to certain sections because I'm like, ooh, this is something that I need to pay attention to, or this is something that I've made the same mistake over and over and over again. And so it's good to it's just a good tool to reflect back on and maybe challenge the way that you've addressed relationships in the past, or maybe focusing in on your current relationship and saying like, am I having this problem? Is this something that I'm ignoring, or is this something that can be corrected or fixed by more communication and having open dialogue with my partners about what they actually want and what their actual needs are? So I'm giving this book, it's I would say it's light enough to understand, but there definitely needs to be more digging internally for anybody who reads this. Like, this is not going to give you the answers. It's just going to create this inception of ideas. So I'm going to give this book on the Hades scale an 8 out of 10. Maybe even more than that. I'm going to give it a you should motherfucking read this book for sure. 5 stars. 5 stars. And so, yeah, we're going to keep digging into this book a little bit more. We're going to be reading more poly books, more kink books, a lot of different other books. So yeah, check this one out. This one's on Audible. I'm sure it's on Amazon. You can pick it up. The Polyamory Breakup Book. It's pretty good. So yeah, that's my review. Hope y'all liked it. Make sure that you subscribe for more videos. We're gonna be doing more stuff like this. And yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side.